Okay, this is Lenny. Lenny lives in a house with 4 other dogs. Well, sometimes three, sometimes 2 other dogs, sometimes 4 other dogs. And one of them, Baxter, is really what this exercise is for, but he's been barking for 3 hours nonstop, and he's a biter and a nipper, and he's just above threshold. So we're going to show you with Lenny here how you can teach a dog to focus. Now, most dogs' focus works against us. I'm focused on the leaf blowing outside, the flag, the squirrel, the car, whatever it is. And so now I'm focused on that, and you're calling them, and you're probably calling them saying, come, 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 come. The dog's like not hearing you, and your dog's practicing not listening to you. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to teach your dog to focus. Now, most people, when they teach your dog to focus, which really means just look at me in the face, trainers will teach your dog to focus if you watch him by going like this. See how he's looking at my face? It's an easy way to do it. I do it a harder way, and I do it a harder way for a reason. If basically, you hear the barking back there, he's got cortisol in his blood, which is the stress hormone. This is what helps us, if we're in a dangerous situation, our body prepares ourselves for fight or flight. And so it shuts down all non-essential body functions like digestion and puts all of its energy towards your respiratory and your blood circulation, so you're prepared to fight someone better or to run and get away from them. So your body cannot produce cortisol, the stress hormone, at the same time that it produces the pleasure endorphins, which are oxytocin, serotonin, and leptin. I'm saying the last one along, but it starts with lepto something or other. I can't remember. I'm not a biology guy. I'm a psychology guy. Now, your body can't produce both of them at the same time. The pleasure endorphins go into your brain. The cortisol goes into your blood. So if your dog is really worked up because it sees somebody, it starts activating and adding the stress hormone in the dog's blood. Now it becomes a physical manifestation as well as a psychological one. Petting a dog for longer than about 2 minutes will start releasing oxytocin, serotonin, or leptin, or whatever it is, into your brain and into your dog's brain. If your dog voluntarily looks you in the eyes for longer than 11 seconds, it does the same thing. But if you lure the dog to look, it doesn't work. So right here, I'm going to give him a free one. I have a bunch of treats in this hand and one treat in this hand. I want the dog to be between my knees, and I'm watching his eyes. Now, all he has to do is look at me in the face to get the treat, but he doesn't know that. And I'm trying to lure him with the treats away from my face so that when he looks up at me, it's an intentional act. Focus. So I raise it to my nose to prolong that gaze, and then I go straight to his mouth and say the command word. Then I reload again so he knows we're still playing. His eyes go to where the treats are and where the smell is emanating from. And I'm waiting for him. As soon as he looks up at me, I'm going to give him another treat. Now, when I do it, I'm going to count it out. When you're doing this, make sure you look at your dog. Do not turn your eyes away. If he gives me an eye dart and I miss it, 5 minutes. He just did exactly what I was saying. It was a quick eye dart. If I would have missed it, it might take 5 minutes before he looks at me again. So watch your dog like a hawk. And as soon as he looks up at me, I raise my nose. Now it's 1 second from my knee to my nose, and then 1 second from my nose to his mouth. And I say the word focus after it goes into his mouth. Now, don't lure the dog. Focus. Don't wiggle the treat. Don't pull the treat away. Don't say their name. The only thing you do is look in his mouth, but he's got to figure it out on his own. So I do it again, and I'll count it out. I mean, it's 1 second up, 1 second down. And what we should see is as we do this, he starts looking at me faster and faster. Now, he's a little bit stressed because Baxter over there has been barking the whole time. And part of this is we want the dog to understand, if I don't know how to solve a problem, look up the humans in the face, 1 second, 1 second, focus. The humans can give me a solution. So eventually what we want to do is this. 1 second. Focus. See how he got up for that? That's because I went from 1 second to trying to go to 15 seconds, which is your final goal. So first you're going to do this with all 12 treats. It's 1 second, 1 second. 1 second up, 1 second to his mouth. And we're doing this, make sure nobody else, Baxter over there, stopped. Make sure nobody's eating. Nobody has a bag of chips or crinklies, or there's nothing going on that's distracting at first. Eventually you want to use this focus through distractions, but at first you're just going to use it, at first we want to teach them in the easiest scenario possible. And this is what's more typical. The dog nudges you, tries to chew your treat. So I hold it between my thumb and forefinger, and then I push it against my knee to hold it, keep it anchored. So, focus. So you do it for all 12 treats. Now, dogs don't generalize well, so don't just practice here. Practice here, practice there, in the kitchen, dining room, all over the place. So now, once he starts staring at you for all 12 seconds, or for just pretty much staring at you, then we can go for 1 second. Then we go 1 second, 2 seconds for all 12 treats. And then maybe the next time we maybe go to 3 seconds. Now, it's not necessarily 1 second each new time you practice. It's as long as the dog's looking at you the whole time, then we start gradually, progressively increasing the duration before we deliver that treat until we can get to the point where we have that 15-second focus. Focus. Once we achieve that, and you want to achieve this within 7 days, 15-second focus. And don't be too fast. So remember, once, whatever the interval is, all of them. Here, I'll give you that, and hold that in your hand, and he'll be interested. Oh. Lenny. Here, buddy. The treats are still here, I promise. All right, so once you get to the point where you can get him to focus anywhere in the house, and you're not saying focus first, you're only saying focus after you put the treat in his mouth, and that only happens when he looks at you in your face on his own. Or her own. There's a lot of females in the house. Next stage is to go out in your backyard and practice outside. Now, when you're outside, whole new ball game. There's a lot of scents and smells and activity, squirrels, the wind, all the fun stuff. So it's harder. So first of all, let your dog go out and have some time and do this with the dogs one at a time. Let the dog go out and let Lenny sniff around and get all his sniffs in. When he's kind of got that out, then ask him to come back over. Lenny, sit. If you're seated on a chair, just make sure your knees are about shoulder width apart and his head is between your knees. And then you go back to us, but he already knows how to do this. Now it's a harder environment, so we kind of make it easier and harder at the same time. We're making it harder by doing it outside. We make it easier by going back to 1 second, 1 second, focus, just like that. But now you can move faster because he knows how the game is played. So I might go 1 second for 4 treats, 1 second, 2 second for 4 treats, and 1 second, 3 second for 4 treats. The one to your nose is always only 1 second. So you want to be able to get to the point where you can do it outside, and again, no distractions at first, within about 2 days. So you can have that 15-second focus. The third stage is when we're actually going to cue it when we're on walks. You could also do it inside. I usually describe this on the walk. So we're on a walk. The dog, let's say that Lenny's walking next to me, and there's no reason for him to be distracted. There's nothing, no problems. I say focus, and now we're cueing the focus. We're saying the word. We're not waiting for him to do it. We're not walking down the street with him on our knees. So now I say focus. He looks up at me. I go like this. 1 second up, 1 second. I put it in his mouth and say focus. And we keep on walking. Do it. Don't stop while you're doing this. Keep walking. After a while, then you go 1 second as you're walking, 2 seconds as it's coming down. Focus. Eventually, you're walking, and he's like running into stuff because he's looking up at you for 15 seconds as he's walking. So once we can achieve this now, then if the dog is looking out the window, he's like, I'm going to bark at you. Focus. Dogs only focus on one thing at a time. So now we've tapped into the focus, and the focus can actually work with us. Right now it's working against us. And the benefit of this, once we get past that 11 seconds, we're starting to release prolactin. That's what it is, prolactin. Prolactin, oxytocin, serotonin into your brain and into the dog's brain. And so it stops the production of cortisol. So if your dog is stressed out about a delivery man or whatever it is, move them away from it until you can get them to sit and take a treat. When the cortisol is too high in their blood, they won't be hungry. They won't take a treat. They'll look away from it. So keep on moving away until you can get them to sit and take a treat. And then once you find that distance, then you just do focus. Now, he doesn't know it yet. That's why we don't use it. But at that time, he will have focus. You say focus, he'll look up to you and go like this for 15 seconds while the kid's running around or the dog's barking or whatever it is. You want to get them close to it and help them practice being close to it without reacting. So 4 15-second focuses is 1 minute. So if you get him next to, as close as you can to a dog in a yard that he normally barks at, but you're just outside the reach so he doesn't feel like he needs a bark, and then you do 4 focuses, that's 1 minute. Then you take 1 step closer, do a couple focuses, and then another step closer. When you get to the point where he starts getting distracted, you're getting close to your breaking point. So the idea is to redirect his attention, but what we would want to do is recreate it so he doesn't feel the need to bark at the dog. So gradually we get closer and closer, 1 step, until we get about 4 focuses in a row without him reacting, then take 1 more step closer. And we get to the point, again, where he won't sit or won't take the treat or is looking away from it. You're close to his breaking point. Do not push until he breaks, because then it will undo the work you did. Let's say that we're 20 paces away from the dog that's barking. And I go from 20, he barks, so I move him to 40, get him to sit a couple times, then I find out it's 20. We do 4 focuses at 20 paces. Then I go to 19 paces, do 4 focuses, 18 paces, 4 focuses, and he's having difficulty, 17 paces, and he looks away. I know where his breaking point. So I take note. We're at 18 was last success. So we go across the street, we walk around, and the next time we come back, we practice, we start at 18, or maybe 19. And maybe we go from 18, 17, 16, Next time we go 16, 15, 14, eventually you're walking by the house and you say, focus, the dog walks by the house, dog's barking over there, and I'm looking up here for the tree, and now your dog's practicing walking by without barking. So you can do this for a lot of different capacities, but the nice thing about it is it can stop the cortisol from making it worse and actually release the pleasure endorphins, make it feel a little bit better. Lenny, one more time for the road. Come here, buddy. Sit. Focus, already getting faster. This is Lenny, and this is how you can teach your dog to focus.